let's bake some sourdough. A scale is going to be your friend. You don't need it, but it's definitely helpful, okay? 400 grams of warm water in here. The water is about between 85 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Use 100 grams of starter. All right, then I'm just gonna mix that in. All right, we're gonna zero that out. 10 grams of salt, and always use this Celtic sea salt with my flour. 500 grams of flour, and okay, you want to move your scale because you definitely mess up your scale that way. Have a good shaggy dough, and get a scraper. I have to have one of these, but it's very helpful, especially with sourdough, because when this stuff dries, it dries like cement. This just makes cleanup a bit easier. We're gonna let this sit for about 30 minutes to an hour. It's not that big of a deal. Whatever works for you, okay? And this is what we call fermentolise. Now, you have autolyse and fermentolise. Autolyse is where you just mix the flour and water together and let that sit for about 30 minutes to an hour. And you are like letting your flour hydrate a bit more, building the gluten, building structure early on in the process. But what we're doing is fermentolise, so we're kind of starting the fermentation process a little bit, helping the fermentation process just give it a little bit of head start. So if you notice, like, it's pretty shaggy, it falls apart. When we come back, it's going to be a nice stretchy dough. So let that sit, cover it up, and then we'll be back in an hour to do our stretch and folds. All right, so it's been right at an hour. Let's do some stretch and folds. Now I have a little bowl of water right here because you need a wet hand, so that way I just don't have to keep going to the sink over there. You can also have a spray bottle, that helps also. So I'm just going to show it some love, do some stretch and folds, I don't know, 4 to 5 minutes. So we're just going to pull it, stretch it, fold it. Done. That's how she looks. I'm going to scrape the bowls, scrape the sides. Now we're going to come back every 30 minutes for the next 2 hours and do coil folds. All right. So it's 12:47. We'll be back in 30 minutes. All right. So it is 1:30. It's been a little over an hour, but that's okay. It's perfectly fine. It's not that serious. I promise. My hands in the water. Just make sure they're wet. And I'm going to do coil folds. Now I'm just pulling and then rotating, pulling, rotating, just enough until it comes away from the bowl. Pull, rotate, pull. See? You can do it a little bit more if you want. See how much smoother she already looks? All right, I'm going to straighten the sides. And that's it. We're going to cover, be back again in 30 minutes. 2 o'clock, we're going to do our second coil fold. See the bubbles? That's a good sign. See? Meh on the bottom. That's all right. You just want to take note on the bubbles on the bottom, bubbles on the top, if they're getting more, if they're getting bigger. Okay, so we're doing the same thing like we did last time. Wet our hands. And then just pull. Cover. And we'll be back in 30 more minutes. All right. So it looks. It's getting more bubbles. Got some bubbles on the bottom. All right, we'll be back in 30 minutes. Last stretch and fold, or last coil fold, excuse me. Hopefully you can see them. Want to cover it and let it sit and bulk ferment. Now this is going to take a different amount of time for everybody because it depends on your environment, your elevation, the temperature of your dough, the temperature of the water that you use, your flour, all these different things. So it could take 2 hours to 7 hours. But the keys that I'm looking for will be more bubbles on the top. It'll be jiggly, okay? This is pretty stiff right now. It'll be jiggly whenever I shake it. It's like doubled in size almost, and it pulls away easy from the sides. So we'll go over that whenever we come back, whenever that happens, and right before or right whenever we go to shape it. So we'll be back. All right, here's our bread. It's time to shape. It is 9:45 in the evening, so it definitely could be over fermented. I don't know, but she's given all the signs. I mean, even the lid jiggles on it. So, and I moved her to this just because I like to put her in the ceramic bowl with the lid. I feel like it retains the heat a little bit better, and I can kind of tell that she's doubled in size more in this smaller dish. All right, she's not sticking. Good sign. Definitely has the bubbles on top. Look how jiggly. All right. Let's see if y'all can see. It pulls away from the bowl. All right, yep. Not sticking. Not bad. I'm gonna touch her. All right. All signs point to go, so I'm going to dump a little bit of flour. And just naturally let her fall out. She might be over fermented. Yeah. She definitely is over fermented in there. See how a lot of it's stuck to the bowl, but that's all right. She's still going to bake beautiful. Scraper. It got warmer today, and I fell asleep a little bit on the couch after dinner and cleaning the kitchen, so it's all right though. We're just going to shape her. She's not too bad, not too sticky. Big old bubble over there. All right. Flip her half. Half. I'm just going to roll her up. Kind of give tension as you're rolling. Sometimes you can get your scraper to help you if she gets a little too sticky. And it's a high hydration dough, so it's going to be a little bit sticky. So I'm just kind of pushing up and then pulling to me. Just to create that tension on the bottom. The top will stretch a little bit. You can see how smooth. Push it up and pull toward you. Up, pull toward you. Ah, getting a little sticky. All right, let that sit. All right, I'll let her sit for a few minutes. I'm going to give her another little shaping. Banneton here, sprinkle with a little bit of bread flour and rice flour, because rice flour doesn't absorb as much. Put some on top of here. I'm going to pinch the seam. Trying to get it as tight as possible so whenever it bakes it gives that good oven spring. It'll have enough strength to lift itself, I guess, if that makes sense. My shaping skills definitely need some more work, but I'm going to flour the top of it. Bread flour, and then I just take my beeswax wrap that I have, and then we're going to put it in the refrigerator overnight, and we'll be back tomorrow to bake it. Now we're putting it in the refrigerator to bulk ferment. You can do it, for 24 hours up to 2 days. So I'll be baking it sometime tomorrow morning or afternoon. So we'll be back. It's time to bake our bread. First, we're going to preheat our oven, and while our oven's preheating, we're going to put our bread baker, whatever pan, pot you're using to bake your bread, you're going to put that into the oven and let this preheat along with your oven. It's bake day. A little wheat. One big slice in the middle. Get our pan. Alright. I put 2 ice cubes in here because that steam is going to help it give it that oven spring. Put on top. Alright, we're going to bake that for 20 minutes with the lid on. And then we're going to take it off and then bake it for another 25 minutes with the lid off. Take our lid off. Alright, she's ready. Alright. In the wire rack and cool off for a minute, for a little bit, and then we'll be back to cut her open. Here's our bread. Turned out okay. Can you see the Le Creuset words in there? Not bad. Not bad. The holes would be just a little bit bigger. Like I said, I know she was definitely over fermented. But that's alright. She's still gonna taste great. We're gonna make grilled cheese sandwiches with butternut squash soup and Brussels sprouts. It's gonna be tasty. So good.